On today's show, we're going to be talking all about my favorite freezer meals from breakfast to dinner and everything in between. So we're going to start with a breakfast freezer meal. This is something that I make every single week for my husband Sean to take to work. What I love about it is it's super easy to prepare. I can make it kind of in an assembly line style, and then I pop it all in the freezer and he can pull them out, microwave them, and take them with him to go. They're also really nutritious and they're a good source of protein, so it keeps him fueled throughout his day. For this recipe, you'll need 1 pound of sausage, 8 eggs, 1/4 cup milk, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 6 slices of cheese, and 6 English muffins. For these breakfast sandwiches, we're gonna start with some sausage. Now you could do lean sausage, you could do whatever kind of sausage you like, but basically you just want something that you can grind up in a pan. So you don't wanna get like the links of sausage, like the patties or the links. You could use those essentially and you could break them up, but instead I just get something that is like a ground type of sausage that you can break it up and cook it in a pan. So we're gonna cook this over medium-high heat and we're gonna break it up as it cooks, just the sausage in the pan. And this year, I found myself making freezer meals more than ever because this season of life is busier than ever. This was the year that we decided to start homeschooling my daughter, Maddie. And the decision was not an easy one. Sean and I prayed for many, many months about what school we should send her to and what we should do with her next year. When we first moved to Tennessee, we didn't realize how many schools there were in Tennessee. In Michigan, there's really 1 private and 1 public school for each district. So there's really not many options. But when we moved here, there were almost too many options. So we were feeling really overwhelmed. And we just sent her to whatever school she could get in when we moved here. We were kind of desperate. We moved at the end of summer and we were like, let's just send her to this Christian school. Well, so then as we were deciding what do we really want to do, because she's in 1st grade and we knew that she'd be developing friendships, and from here on out, it would be really important that she would stay at a school for quite a while. So we were thinking about all the different Christian schools in the area. We went to visit all of them. All of them were really great for many different reasons, but for some reason, there just was not a peace in our heart about any of the schools. And there wasn't anything wrong with any of them. So the more that I prayed, the more that I just felt like I was getting nowhere. I was so confused why nothing seemed to be clicking and I just didn't have a deep inner peace. And that's usually how I know what the right decision is. You know, the Bible talks about that if we let the peace of God rule in our heart, then we'll know that we're following God's perfect will for our life. And so, you know, I was pursuing God, I was seeking God, and I just didn't have a deep peace ruling in my heart. So, lo and behold, just like God does, He started to send people my way that went to Heart Christian Academy, which is a Christian school that is 2 days a week, and then 3 days a week you homeschool based on the curriculum that they give you. And so all these people were coming up to me, and I was meeting all these people from Heart Christian Academy, and they were telling me how amazing it was. The more that I talked to all these moms, the more that I was like, okay, I gotta check this out. So I started to look into it, but there was a big part of me that was like, there is no way. I have a 2-year-old who is super busy. I have a business to run. I have a household to manage. I'm a wife. I'm a mom to 2 kids. There's just no way I can fit homeschooling into all of that. So as I started to just pray more about it, I really started to realize that this peace was coming up within me. And even Maddie, she did not want to be homeschooled. I mentioned it to her a few times when I was thinking about it, and she was like, no way, Mom. The one thing about Maddie is she may be very meek in her personality, but she thrives and she really blossoms when it comes to being around other kids. So it was super important to her. She was like, I do not want to be at home all day alone with my brother. So she was just resistant. And then one day out of the blue, she said to me, Mom, I do want to be homeschooled. And when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh. I just felt like it was God almost using her to give me this confirmation that I needed in my heart that she would be okay, that we would be okay if we chose to go down this path. So as I'm praying about it, and honestly, if I had to be honest, resisting God a little bit because I was thinking, this doesn't make sense. I remember I was brushing my teeth one night and I was just in inner turmoil because I just kept talking myself out of what I knew God was telling me to do. I just felt this deep peace come over me as I heard God say in my heart, Katie, relinquish it to me. And when I thought about relinquishing control and what I thought was best, and I just gave it to God, I knew that that was what we were supposed to do. So fast forward about a month later, I put our application in and I just relinquished it to God. And I said, God, if this is what you have for us, I thank you that you'll open the door and you'll make a way. And even though it didn't make sense, God confirmed it to me time and time again through his word as well. So it's been a beautiful thing in so many ways, and it's been such a blessing. But I will tell you, with it comes a little bit less time to plan and prepare food for my family. So one of the greatest things that I've been doing for our family is when I have time, like on a weekend, I'll plan ahead a bunch of meals and I'll freeze them. And that way we have food when it's a really busy weeknight. So I just cooked up my ground sausage. Then I added my eggs to the baking dish. I'm also gonna add some milk, and then I did some salt and pepper. And I'm just gonna stir it right in the baking dish, but you could also whisk it together in a bowl if you want your eggs really whisked together nicely. I just don't like to dirty a dish if I don't have to. And then I cooked my sausage just until it's brown, and I'm gonna add it right to the eggs. Just like that. Then what I like about this is it's so easy this way. You can just simply pop it in the oven, and every single piece of egg also has sausage in it. So it's not like you're, layering the sandwiches and you're making the sausage separate from the eggs. It's kind of all just in one bite, and it just makes it really easy to prepare. I'm gonna pop this in the oven, 375 degrees for 20 minutes. When it comes out, I'll show you how we're gonna assemble the sandwiches. Okay, so our eggs are cooked and they look so good. So you just wanna take a circle cookie cutter, and I just invested in one of these. It's just a few dollars online, but you could also use the bottom of a cup or a mason jar lid, anything to give you the right size circle for your sandwiches. And then I'm gonna take the cookie cutter and just cut out 6 circles out of the eggs. And then the scraps you can use for other sandwiches, or you can just serve them alongside pancakes. So these look good. Sometimes I give it a little bit of a jiggle there just to kind of really get it separated off the pan. Then I take my spatula. I'm gonna pull the circles off of the pan, and I'm gonna build a sandwich, and it's so easy. And like I said, I just lay these out in assembly line style, so it's really easy to do. And I just do it on parchment paper, so the pre-cut sheets is easy, but you could do just the kind you tear on your own too. Put a piece of cheese on there if you want to do dairy. If you don't, honestly, what I like to do, especially when I'm making these for myself, is I just add some veggies into the eggs so that the eggs are a little bit thicker, and you really don't even need cheese. Then I just kind of fold it over in the parchment paper, and then I'll just put a little piece of tape or a little sticker on top, or you could put it in a Ziploc bag. So however you want to secure this, and that way you can just pull them out of the freezer. I used to wrap these in foil or plastic, but then I found out it's really not the best to put things in plastic, especially if you're reheating it later. So I just do parchment paper, it's a little bit safer. So that's the way that I freeze them. Then when you pull them out of the freezer, you can either pop them in a low heated oven for like 5 to 10 minutes to heat them up, or you can pop them in the microwave for about 30 to 60 seconds.